Welcome back to SoulBack. This is the R&B podcast. We're back once again with another episode. Tom, where is Ed?
I heard he's out in the woods in Virginia, roaming around, trying to find another artist to get into besides Keith Sweat. That's the last I heard.
No, but I think we have another Southerner with us today.
It's always good to have another Southerner with us, but this is actually a good friend of ours for years now. He's been a supporter of the site for many years. He's worked with us over the years. He's a great ambassador for R&B music. He's doing some great things down in D.C. with R&B music and beyond. So he's also the most recent recipient of our Playa Please Awawrd. Welcome, Zeplyn Tillman.
Thank you all so much for having me. Yeah, Kyle, you know, I was getting Google alerts that my name was coming up in the SoulBack podcast, so I figured that I had to stop by and you know, see what all the fuss was about and kind of, you know, defend my name a little bit. So right now this is the Zeps Back podcast.
Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on a second.
That's what's going on.
Wait a second. You're Googling your name? That's such an Ed Bowser thing to do. I'm just saying.
Nah, man, true. I get Google alerts for my name whenever somebody mentions it frivolously.
Wow.
So we're gonna need for you to put some respect on my name.
Ouch.
That's what's going on right now. No, thank you all for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Before we start, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've got going on down there?
Yeah, man, absolutely. So, the Neo Elite, that's the name of my digital media company. You know, where we're creating content in order to really help elevate and push forward, you know, kind of millennials. And so, you know, we have a few projects that we're working on and that have been released, you know, the DC Soul Stage. Look, for anybody that wants to know who the best in R&B and soul in the DC area is, it's a television series that we do with the DC government. It's also online. It's called the DC Soul Stage, literally the easiest thing to find, DC Soul Stage. So we have all the best artists coming out of the DMV. They perform for us. They do interviews. It's a great media series. And then, you know, Millennials in Music, which we just launched with you all, you know, an interview series with kind of a lot of these rising artists around the country, to be able to have really in-depth conversations with them. You know, we launched Amber, Mark, and Oshun with You Know I Got Soul last week. Just having real conversations, authentic conversations, and that sort of thing, kind of following in the trajectory that you all have already set. So, you know, excited to be contributing to the culture, you know, DC Soul Stage and Millennials in Music. Yeah.
Nice. Now, Zeppelin, I know you want some respect on your name, so we're going to play a little game here. Tom, are you ready for this game too?
I love games.
All right. So, Zeppelin, you eat candy, right? Have you had Skittles before?
I've had Skittles. I'm a big candy fan, yes.
Have you had the blue bag? It's like the tropical flavored one.
I have.
And Tom, you have as well?
Yep.
So there's 5 different colors to this tropical flavored Skittles. I'm going to give you a color, and you guys can go one at a time. And there's 5 of them, and you're going to tell me what flavor these colors are. Remember, this is the tropical edition.
What is
Man.
that? Oh my goodness!
Can you start by just at least giving the 5? I don't know, man.
Is this R&B related?
Come on. There's a good segue into this anyway. All right, well, for everyone out there, I'll give everyone an example. So, Tom, if I say for the original Skittles, the color yellow, what flavor is that?
Lemon.
See, easy, right? So, simple. All right, let's do it with the tropical edition here. Zeppelin, you go first. What is the tropical flavor for yellow?
Banana breeze.
That's actually pretty close. It's banana berry. I'll give you a point for that.
Wow.
Oh, all right.
All right, Tom. What is green?
Oh man.
It's tropical.
I have
remember
no
that.
idea. Lime breeze.
That's actually pretty close. It's actually kiwi lime. I'll give you that. I'll be generous here. All right, Zeppelin, orange.
Oh. I'm gonna go with something like a mango citrus type piece.
Yep, mango it is.
Mango,
Tom?
all right.
Tom, blue. Oh, blue is tough.
Blue.
Yep.
It's got to be like man, it's not like blueberry or something.
No.
I have no idea.
No. Zeplyn, you want to go in for the steal?
Can I steal? Let me see. You said blue.
Yeah.
Let me go with the. I don't even know. No, I don't know. I'll just stick to mine. I don't know what that one is.
All right. Well, blue is actually
what was it?
Pineapple and passion fruit.
Oh yeah.
There was no way you guys would have got that one.
All right.
So the very last one, and Tom, I don't want you Googling right now because I think you're probably on Google. You're on Wikipedia, ready for this last one. But I'm going to give you an opportunity to tie this so that it ends up being a draw. Are you ready, Tom?
Okay.
Pink.
I have no idea. It's probably like, let's say peach.
No. Zeppelin for the win? Well, you already won, but for the dominating
I
win.
won. Tom has been such a gracious mentor to me over my career, so I'll bow out at my 2-1 victory.
Wow.
So it's actually strawberry. I don't know why you didn't guess that, Tom.
Okay.
That was fun.
And this segues into R&B. How?
Justin Timberlake's new song is also very tropical, just like these Skittles. Can we talk about this new record, Soulmate?
If we must.
That was a pretty good segue.
So I was really excited when I saw that 1985, I believe, produced it, right? Was the producer of it.
Yeah.
And I listened to it. I'm a huge JT fan up until this last album, by the way. I didn't love it. I didn't love the record. You know, I thought it was it felt like a throwaway that they didn't really know what to kind of do, you know, with it. It felt like a miss to me. And I'm a huge JT fan, but it felt like a miss to me.
Yeah, I think we both agreed on that one, right, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I was excited too because James Fauntleroy wrote the song, and he's done so much over the last couple of years, and you know he's written a lot with Justin Timberlake as well. So I thought this was gonna, because you know, Man of the Woods album, I think everyone has an opinion on it. I actually personally like the album. I felt like it was a little experimental. It was lacking a hit, but in terms of it sounding like a Justin Timberlake record, like you can identify that album with Justin Timberlake. With this song, it came across as like a Maroon 5 type record almost. Even the way he was singing on it, you couldn't really even recognize his voice on the song. So I do appreciate the fact that he was trying something different, but you're right. It seems like they just put this together. They threw it all together and they just slapped it onto the internet. And I mean, that's the result you get. But it is interesting to see that he's kind of moving away from the Man of the Woods album. That only lasted like a couple of months and they just chucked it away.
I mean, man, and you know, call me somebody who doesn't like to necessarily deviate from the old in this only case really right here, but it's just something about when JT and Tim collaborate to me that like that's what I'm here for. I'm here for Justin and I'm here for Tim. It's not too many tracks outside of those. You know, obviously the first album with the Neptunes, I think that a few of those tracks are really good, but I just like the JT-Tim connection, and when I'm not getting that, it just feels a little bit off for me. I don't know.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
We did like a couple songs on that last album that we're gonna have on our year-end countdown, but overall, personally, it wasn't for us, I think.
Yeah, I think that's one of those albums that we'll look back a couple of years later and maybe appreciate it a little more, but I don't think anyone really wanted that album during this time. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But can we talk about this Buddha?
Kyle,
yep.
I have some breaking news actually right now in R&B. This just came through the presses. Filed this under WTF, guys. Keyshia Cole fakes pregnancy announcement to teach lesson on body shaming. Wow.
Wow.
She's not actually pregnant. After it was announced yesterday, she was. Lesson learned, I guess? I don't know. If Ed was here, he'd be like, good Lord. Your reaction, Zeplyn?
Yeah, I saw that earlier on Instagram. You know, I think that all press is good press. You know, it's people have to get attention the way that they feel they have to, which is why I'm actually really interested to have this Ella Mai Boot Up remix conversation with you all, because I think I kind of know your opinions and I have a complete opposite one, you know, of it. But yeah, I mean, I think you've got to get attention any way that you can. We live in the, you know, love and hip hop, you know, give information shade room type now society. So anywhere for you to be able to get attention and get your name relevant again, or at least on the minds of the audience, is, you know, what people do, even if that means lying or, you know, leaking out, you know, promiscuous photos of themselves, or, you know, calling TMZ when you and your new relationship are going to be around to act like they just happened to find out about you. You know, you got to do what you got to do to, you know, keep your name in the press. So it's not surprising.
Man, I'm just saying, like, Keyshia Cole had so much potential when she first came out, and she actually had a couple of big records, but man, to see her go from that to this, it's kind of disappointing. Like, she was supposed to be, in my opinion, the next one, and she was almost there, but it just never panned out for her.
You said the next who?
The next one, come on.
Oh, the next one of what?
One of the next greats. The first two albums?
Great
Hold
what?
on. Hold on. First of all, Zeppelin, who invited you anyway? Where's Barry Bars? Get him back on the line.
Hold on. you all thought that Keyshia Cole was gonna be a great in like the genre of R&B?
For that generation. You don't think so? Those first two albums? Come on.
No. I mean, so I think it's one thing to have great radio records. I think it's another thing to actually be the voice of a generation. I mean, to me, great artists are able to serve as the voice or be a persona of the generation. And I never got that from Keyshia Cole. I thought that she was in the studio with the right producers and the right artists and the right songwriters, had a really good voice, and was able to craft good records. But like, we have 100 of those. I never knew anybody who was like, like Keyshia Cole is the voice for X group. I never got that.
Oh, I don't know, man. I remember, I didn't even know Tom yet, but I bet in 2007 he was crying over I Remember. Tom, is this true?
Crying? I don't know about crying, but that's a good song.
No. It's a good record. No. She makes good records. I don't think that we can confuse good records and a good voice with being the next one.
No, man, you don't understand. She was connecting with her fans. Like, she had that audience. She filled that void for Mary J. in the 2000s.
I think this just proves what we already know, Kyle. Your generation is just a black hole, man, when it comes to R&B.
Yeah.
Zeppelin's from my generation, though. We're from the same generation.
He downgraded to the newest generation. He gave up on your generation.
No, I didn't downgrade. I just stay relevant. I mean, look, I
stayed
think
relevant. Oh man,
I make sure I stay relevant. But look, I mean, I know that you kind of have your section, but to me, this brings up the H.E.R conversation, which apparently I got the Playa Please Awawrd for. Right, because
this is true.
So Kyle, can we? I mean, I don't want. If you plan on getting into this later, then cool. But can we talk about that? Can we go there?
We can definitely go there. I kind of saw this coming too, but let's definitely go there.
As long as you give us your acceptance speech first, and then we can get into it.
What'd you say?
If you give us your acceptance speech first, and then we'll get into it.
What acceptance speech? What do you mean?
You won an award, man. Come on.
Oh, look, man. All right. I'm gonna let you all finish, but I do not want this award.
Oh.
Look, no. So here's the thing. Kyle, the statement that I made after watching the BET Awards is that, to me, that performance did not solidify her as a superstar. And I want to put a caveat around this in saying that I love her. I mean, I think that I maybe was not, if not the first person to bring her to Tom, somebody extremely early when she just had out the first project and people were still seeing it as a gimmick. I love her. I love her music. With that being said, I do not think that her performance at the BET Awards, I saw that and I was like, she's a superstar. Just to give some background or some clarity with that, and I kind of want to understand this from you, Kyle. In the last 18 years, right? So we'll say since 2000, who are you considering an actual superstar? Can you give me some names of artists?
We actually had this conversation a couple of podcasts ago. So I would say you got to put Alicia Keys up there. But
Agreed.
Even that, personally, I don't really see Alicia Keys as a superstar either in terms of
no, she is
stage
she
presence.
is.
No, I mean, you gotta the market. I think the market has shown that she's a superstar, right? Like regardless of opinion, the market has said Alicia is a superstar.
Okay. I guess you put Usher in there, even though he came from the '90s. I'd put Chris Brown. I'd put Chris Brown in there.
Neo.
Yep.
We were debating Neo.
See, Neo's a tricky one, but I would put him in there.
Yeah.
Listen,
Okay.
to me, someone's a superstar if my mom has heard of them, and my mom doesn't know anything about R&B or listen to it. So that's my
Right. That's a valid point. That's a valid.
Okay,
point.
but here's my thing. Everyone we mentioned there, they've crossed over to pop. So, what are we defining as a superstar here?
But I think there were superstars even before they went into pop. That's the thing. All four of those artists that you just named were superstars before they started, getting service to pop radio. I think that what defines a superstar is someone who is able to be an icon by just stepping on the stage. Like, they command the room, they command the audience. It's not just the voice, it's not just how good the record is. It's like they control that room. If we're on Twitter, the girls or whoever the audience are, they're talking about what they're wearing. They're talking about the way their hair looks. They're talking about the way they control the room. When I saw, and I'm not saying her cannot grow into that, but what I'm saying is that I think that she has a long way to go, and that a beautiful voice and good records are not the criteria for a superstar, because we had hundreds of the insert any 90s or early 2000s R&B singer, right? Where are they at right now?
Working at Walmart?
No, stop. Touring every weekend?
I think a superstar is someone who, when they hit that stage, all eyes are on them. Like, when you see Alicia Keys' first performance on the Oprah Winfrey Show, 2000, 2001, all eyes were on her immediately. When you look at those Chris Brown performances, 106 in Park, that first album, this guy was commanding the room. Usher, I think that we all know what Usher did, right? It's like there's an aura, and I don't think it matters how old you are. There's an aura that you have. And I just didn't get that. I didn't see anybody talking about her on Twitter afterwards, outside of people being like, oh, I love this song. It wasn't like, her is, that's my girl. I didn't see any of that.
Valid point. I still think you're wrong, but valid point. I'm just kidding. All right, Zeplyn, how about this artist right here? Tyrese, is he a superstar? Because he commands.
Is Tyrese a superstar?
He commands attention.
I think Tyrese as a personality is a superstar. Yes. I don't think that Tyrese as an artist is a superstar, but I think that the persona of Tyrese, being the motivational guru at sometimes, the actor, the singer, the, you know, just all around individual, yeah, I think that he is a superstar, 100%.
You might be right about her, but I'm still gonna give you that Playa Please Award because you do not disrespect her. She is a superstar in my heart.
All right, well, this is a personal thing at that point. You know, I can't
it's absolutely a personal thing.
Just so you guys know, I ended my 10-year, decade-long streak of not watching an award show just so I could observe this video and see what you guys were fussing about. And I watched her performance for like 2 minutes. So, like, she was standing up there with an orchestra behind her and standing at the microphone with glasses on and a big poofy dress and sneakers. And it just looked like someone singing at a microphone like I've seen hundreds of times in SOBs. I don't know.
Oh.
So it sounds like you need to give Tom the Playa Please Award as well.
I'll take it.
Tom gets the Playa Please Award every episode. You don't have to worry about that.
But here's my thing. It's almost like so many singers I've seen at Soul Village just standing at the microphone singing. But for this performance, I just put a whole huge orchestra around her to make it seem like dramatic. You know, it wasn't like it was such a dynamic performance that I was blown away. It just, but like Zeplyn said, she still can develop. She's still very young, so who knows?
All right, I got one more name for you guys then, Miguel. Because that guy puts on a hell of a show.
Now, Miguel was one of the best performers I've seen in years from this generation. I will say that.
I think Miguel's a great artist. I don't think he's a superstar. I think he's a great artist.
But I think maybe because he hasn't had what we'd call enough hits. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd agree.
He's had good songs, but he hasn't crossed over besides one song.
He also just doesn't come out with enough music for me, too, right? Like all these people that we named, when they were in their peak periods, they were coming out with a lot of music.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Like I just don't know that Miguel has come out with enough. He doesn't have a large enough catalog for me to be like he's a superstar. And
the nail in the coffin, if I was to call Mrs. Leo right now, she has no idea who Miguel is. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Great artist, though. Great artist.
Oh,
fantastic.
absolutely.
Like, I think one of the best. Just, once again, I think just needs more time.
All right, Zeplyn, I'm going to give you one more, and then we're going to move on from this. SZA, because I've noticed...
no.
I mean, we followed SZA for a while, but over the last 2 years, they really amped up the marketing and the branding behind her, and everyone knows who she is now, for the most part. I don't think she is a superstar, but what do you think?
I think SZA is another great artist, once again. Doesn't have a large enough catalog, right? I don't think that you can determine somebody being a superstar after one body of work. They don't have enough skin in the game. I think she's a great artist, but to me, a superstar is someone who has repeatedly had success after success after success for an extended period of time, right? Because like SZA had a great debut album, but a lot of artists have great debut albums. It's about her ability to now have a second and a third and a fourth, right? To come even stronger than she did the last time. I think for this generation right here, right, like it's pretty much hands down, right, that like Drake's a superstar, Kendrick Lamar's a superstar, J. Cole in the most unconventional way is a superstar. But for the first two, those guys come with hit after hit after hit, year after year after year. And I think that's what makes it kind of like you can't dispute that. Just think SZA needs more time and a little bit more skin in the game. So, great artist though, once again. Just my take on it.
All right. Well, we got another upcoming R&B superstar who will probably take over in the next 3 years, Ella Mai.
Can I introduce? Oh, man, I want to introduce her.
Okay, well, you can introduce her if you want.
I mean, this is like one of our most highly debated artists on here because we loved the song in 2017, and here we are over a year later, and it's blowing up. And we have this great remix. We've got 2 remixes. We were in for a real treat, guys.
We've got this great remix? Is that what you said?
We got 2 great remixes to accompany this song. I was so excited that we had more content from Ella Mai. And I know that Zeplyn is very interested to talk about both of them.
All right.
Yeah. Which ones are we talking about?
So
well,
let's
the
talk
T-Pain
about
version. I mean, I don't know if you call that.
The T-Pain version is fire. Listen,
Really?
I love
the T-Mix.
Well, so I'll let you give the prompt before I go into it. But
Well,
all right.
Listen, you know you made it when you have a T-Pain remix. I'm just saying. So you can't hate on that. But let's talk about the real reason we're here, and that's the actual remix with Nicki Minaj and Quavo. Was this really what we wanted to hear? And, well, two-part question. Is this what we wanted to hear? And second part, was this the right move?
Go ahead, Zeplyn.
We don't know. I mean, we debated this offline for a while, and Zeplyn, we'd like to hear your insight.
Yeah, I mean, I know that the unpopular opinion, especially for R&B enthusiasts, is that why does Nicki Minaj and Quavo need to? Why do people feel like they need a hip hop artist on a good R&B song? We don't need to hear that. I didn't necessarily have an issue with the remix. To me, a remix is a marketing tool. This is the music industry, which is fundamentally a business. And so putting Nicki Minaj, who has, probably upwards of close to 150 million followers across all her social media platforms, you add in, and, top 2 hip-hop females in the game, in hip-hop, Quavo, who's a part of the largest hip-hop group in the game, arguably one of the biggest male, artists, has his own following. This just extends Ella Mai's reach into to being able to grow what she needs to do. I don't necessarily think this was a, classic Jermaine Dupri, DJ Clue, right, remix where it's like you're gonna have them remix it and it's gonna take the song up another notch. Like, no, I think this was a marketing tool to expand a really great song into larger audiences, so that when now it's time to get Ella Mai on Ellen DeGeneres, it's no longer like, oh, she's this girl who just happened to have a top 10 record. It's like, hey, by the way, Nicki Minaj, who's been featured on your show a few times, has co-signed this. Oh, Quavo from the Migos, yeah, you remember when you had them? He's also co-signed this, right? When it's time to go on to another late night show, they can now leverage the fact that some of the biggest artists in the game have co-signed this. This is marketing. I don't think this was the point of it, wasn't to make it a better record. I think this was to help, capitalize on the moment that Ella Mai is having by attaching some larger artists to it so that they can leverage those names. So I think it was a great marketing strategy. That's the way I see it. It helps open up bigger doors for Ella Mai.
Zeplyn, I hear you. I kind of want to give you another Playa Please, but I won't. Listen, I hear you, and I hear the marketing and the business decision behind it, and I don't knock it at all. But first and foremost, the remix sucks. The song is just not good. And you're right, like what they should have done if they were really going to, do a remix with Nicki Minaj and Quavo, they should have done it like Jermaine Dupri, because what ended up happening on this record is Ella Mai went from being the lead singer of the song to being on the remix where she's just like the hook singer. So how is that going to benefit her as an artist anyway? Because like Tom and I have spoke about this. We don't even know who Ella Mai is. She has no identity aside from that one great song. And that's no knock on her. That's her being a new artist. But, man, putting her with Quavo and Nicki Minaj, it doesn't do anyone any good. I think what should have happened, just from an R&B perspective, maybe not business, and we definitely need to separate the two, but I would have liked to see Miguel or Chris Brown on the remix. It would probably have been the more typical move, but man, I'm just sad that they had a chance to elevate R&B and they didn't take that opportunity. They added Nicki Minaj and Quavo, and they created, I guess, this super whack remix. Like, it would have been nice to even hear Ella Mai with some new vocals on it, a new beat, something, but all we got was what I could have done and put on SoundCloud myself, so that's what we got.
Whew. Well, can I chime in? Let me chime in real quick.
Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
First, two things. I was checking Nicki Minaj's Twitter. I'm trying to see what type of package they paid for, promo package, how much they would get her to support it and all that. So her tweet about when the song was coming out, she dropped the album cover and wrote, "I heard this drops in like an hour. Don't hold me to it. Boot up remix." And other than that, she just retweeted like 3 people about the song. Other than that, she hasn't even mentioned the song or anything about it. So that's kind of a negative.
I think it's less about that and more about how many blogs who support Nicki Minaj and who support Quavo and how many of their fans are going to pick that up. It's not just one direct form of marketing. If Ella Mai now can get another article in Billboard, another article in Rolling Stones, another article in Pitchfork just promoting the remix as well, that's more eyeballs on her.
I think she could have got those articles even with a regular remix, though, since the song is so huge on its own now.
I agree.
The song is on pop radio on its own. Give me
an R&B artist right now who has not already co-signed the record that has the reach and pull of Nicki Minaj and Quavo. Go.
What reach, though, if Nicki Minaj isn't even really supporting it?
You said what?
If Nicki Minaj isn't even really supporting it by sharing it, then what reach is it?
Man, she has 90 million followers on socials, right? Let's say that even 1% of that see the tweet, which is, we know, more than 1%, but let's just say 1%. That's still a whole 900,000 new impressions for Ella Mai. Where else would she have gotten that at?
Well, I would agree. I would argue that even though they're probably not exactly the same fan base, a Nicki Minaj fan would have known about Boot Up already, the original version.
No,
I think so.
Dude, it's a huge song right now.
They may have known the beady dot beady dot. They may have but they wouldn't have known why they should care about Ella Mai. I think they may know the record because it's a radio record, but I think that Nicki Minaj co-signing it is okay, our queen likes this? Maybe I should actually go be interested in who this artist is.
But then instead of putting out a garbage remix, why not just pay Nicki Minaj $50,000 to tweet it out, the original?
Because a musical cosign is a lot more than a tweet which lasts 0.5 seconds in the mind of a fan. They can now live with this. As pure R&B enthusiasts, you all don't like this. However, I'm pretty sure that the song charted pretty well on iTunes, and I'm sure that there's just as many people who are going to ride for that record just because Nicki Minaj and Quavo are on it. It can be trash. They're going to ride for it just because their favorite artists are on it.
Oh, that was actually my second point, though. I was going to say, for me and Kyle, this remix really isn't about us, and it's not for us to understand. It's not even for our audience. So, and I think that this might be the end of Ella Mai in terms of what we care to listen to from her, Kyle. I hate to say it, but she might go off in a totally different direction now.
I don't know about that. I mean, Boot Up is such an outlier in what's on radio right now. You even mentioned that earlier today. It sounds nothing like, we were all surprised that the kids gravitated towards that record out of all the songs that have been out on radio. But I don't know, guys. I just felt like this Nicki Minaj and Quavo record, I think it has a purpose and it's done its job. I think streaming numbers have gone up for the original as well as the remix. And you're right, Zeplyn, on iTunes it's charting pretty high, but honestly, for me, in about a week, no one's going to be listening to that remix. They're going to just go back to the original.
Kyle, it's time to face facts. You're getting older. You're approaching 30. We can't have nice things in R&B anymore once you hit 30.
Ugh.
Look, man, I think that if the goal is that you want Ella Mai to succeed, at the end of the day, really, it's that you want her to be in front of as many audiences as possible, right? So I'll take it back to an era that, let's look at the Real Love remix, right? Real Love, real R&B record. Who do they throw on the Real Love remix?
But that was a totally different era, though.
No, absolutely not.
Hip-hop was not bigger than R&B at the time. R&B was bigger than R&B was bigger than hip hop at that time.
I mean, fair.
Way
Arguably.
bigger. Way bigger. Are you kidding me?
I don't know. I don't know. West Coast hip hop at this time period is really kind of like taking over.
Real Love was 92, man.
No, Real Love was 92. Is Dre not, is NWA and Dre not out yet? Is Cube not out yet?
You're saying hip hop overtook R&B at that time? No.
No. What the point I'm talking about is throwing artists who don't seem like they should be on that record on that record. That's my point. I'm sure there were a lot better options than Biggie on the Real Love remix.
Well, let's keep it real though. That was a promotional move by Diddy. I mean, we all know that.
Just like this was a promotional move in order to help Ella Mai move forward.
He was trying to put his artist on though. Biggie wasn't on yet at the time.
You said what?
Biggie was not on yet at that time. He was trying to get his artist on.
My point, no, the greater point I'm making is that the industry for years has been making promotional moves in order to help artists no matter what the position that they're in, whether they're trying to get on or whether they're already on. There's always promotional moves being made in order to help elevate an artist's career. This is just another example of a promotional move. You all just don't like the record.
Yo, Biggie had a verse or two. He didn't take over the song, though, like Kyle said about this one.
Well, that's subjective. To be honest, I think that the hook is the most catchy thing about it, and that's still there.
Oh, they've turned Ella Mai into a hook singer. I'm devastated, guys.
Dude,
but
how are we gonna have R&B? How are we gonna have R&B superstars if they're just being turned into hook singers?
R&B is over, Kyle. We knew that.
Look, no, I think that's false, Tom.
No one wants to hear sing. No one wants to hear singing anymore. Come on.
Well, Boo'd Up became a top 10 record before they threw the hip hop artist on it, right? So I think that your point is completely proven wrong because it was a huge record before they put rappers on it. So moving along from that point, Kyle, I also heard that a few weeks ago you came at me about my thoughts on this. On the Beyonce Rihanna conversation on this.
Oh, what are you just keeping notes on everything I say? Actually,
100%, man.
I totally forgot about that.
I heard that you came at my neck about this, and I wasn't feeling that. I wasn't feeling that. I will give you the opportunity to retract your statement now, though.
Okay,
he's off safety right now.
Your initial statement was that the only reason why SZA, Ella Mai, and H.E.R are blowing up is because Beyonce and Rihanna are on hiatus right now. That was sort of what you were alluding to?
No. I said that number one, once again, my caveat, fantastic artists, all three of them, love them. I said that I think that the reason why they are able to get this amount of notoriety that they've been getting, particularly specific to radio and Billboard chart things, is because of the absence of Beyonce and Rihanna. Absolutely.
I don't disagree with you on that, but I personally
hold on. That is not what you were saying 2 weeks
Hold
ago.
on. Let me
There
finish.
was a complete disagreement.
I don't necessarily disagree with that statement. However, what I have said all along, a record like Boo'd Up, doesn't matter if Beyonce and Rihanna are on the charts or if they're not, that song would have still been a hit. It took some time, but even when I first listened to it, I knew it was a hit. And, I mean, some of it due to it just being pushed and marketed, but I think a good song is a good song and it will get the exposure it deserves. I mean, I know it's very cliche to say, but I don't think the success of Boo'd Up had to do with anything, with Rihanna and Beyonce not being here right now. That's all I'm saying.
How?
It's a hit record, man.
Yeah, but there's a lot of hit records out there that don't get the just due. Right? There have been a lot of fantastic songs by women R&B artists and singers over the last 8 years. That just because they got caught up in the cycle of a Beyonce album or a Rihanna album, who by nature are going to take up 2 to 3 slots within radio that just are not being heard. So like I think that it's super tough to just say that like it's a coincidence, right? That Beyonce and Rihanna up until a few weeks ago, but Boot Up was already a hit by that point, that they haven't put out projects in 2 years, which, and I'm going to give you some historical context, this is the only time since 2003 that they've ever had a 2-year period outside of 2015 when they went 2 years without having an album. And that summer, what artist do we get that has very similar early success to Ella Mai?
This is true.
Alessia Cara, whose first record was very much R&B in 2015, and that was the only other period that Beyonce and Rihanna were on a 2-year hiatus. I don't think that that's a coincidence. I think that their absence allows for radio programmers and blog enthusiasts, tastemakers, to give their ears the opportunity to hear something else.
Actually, you might have a point here. I just remembered when this was either before or after the Lemonade album. I think Rihanna was still. It was right before the Rihanna album dropped too. Mila J was like the only artist that was charting on Urban at the time.
Yeah.
So you might be right on that. But
thank you.
It's all good. We have superstars and Ella Mai and her now.
Listen, guys. Her. Oh, wait.
Calm down.
Listen, guys. I like how we slipped that in there real quick, but listen, while you guys debate over this, all these new artists, I'm going to go back to listening to my Peebo Bryson, Love
Peebo?
Like Yours and Mine, Urban AC, certified hit record at 67 years old. Even Kyle's listening to this record. Zeplyn, have you heard of Peebo Bryson?
I know who Peebo Bryson is. He's the guy who sang on those Disney songs.
Yeah, but come on, man. He has more to his name than that.
A whole new world.
You know but he's done a lot more than that since the mid-'70s.
Yeah, he was on the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack too.
Oh my goodness!
Oh,
yeah, I wish Ed was here for this. Actually, he would speak to this more. But jeez,
he actually has a really good record out. He signed a Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis album out in August, so that will be definitely exciting. Oh, random news! I just looked at the Urban AC charts. Guess who's number one?
Tony Braxton.
Ella Mai.
Oh.
It's number 2 on Urban. It'll probably hit number 1 once Drake season is over. It's like number 6 on Rhythmic, and it's getting added to pop radio this week. So this could potentially become I'm Zeppelin. What do you think? How do you think this song will do on pop?
I don't think
the original, because the remix is not doing anything on pop.
I don't think the song gets any bigger, to be honest. If I'm their camp, that new project needs to come ASAP. That next song needs to come ASAP. I don't think the song gets any bigger than it is right now. I don't think adding it to pop radio helps shoots it up. Only thing I think helps is maybe a few more media appearances, right? If she gets in Ellen, she gets a Fallon. I think that if there was an award show that was coming up, I think that those are at this point the only things. I don't think that hearing the record is an issue for the audience at this point anymore. Like white people, black people, Asian people, like everybody knows Boot Up, right? I think she just needs more media appearances, in order if it's gonna go any higher. That's just my take.
Which is unfortunate because we tried interviewing her, we got turned down. Other R&B sites we know tried interviewing her, couldn't get access, and I told Kyle I don't even know what she looks like. I'd like to see her make some appearances, but I wonder if almost getting pop, moving up the pop chart would get her easier access to those appearances on those shows you mentioned.
Yeah. Tom, if one day your mom calls you and asks, "Hey, do you know that Boot Up song?" I will be super impressed.
Man, I don't even know what my reaction would be, but that would be a little scary, to be honest. But I don't think that's going to happen.
It's not going to happen?
I don't think it'll get to that point.
All right. We've got some more news for everyone here. Zeppelin, did you like the Tiana Taylor project?
I liked records on the Teyana Taylor project. I did. I liked a few records on it. I think, to be honest, Teyana Taylor is in the same vein as Tyrese a superstar.
What?
I think Teyana is a superstar. I think that Teyana just doesn't have the right creative individuals around her that can help her produce the content that superstars need. But I do think that Teyana as an individual is superstar quality. And based on the people that have co-signed her over the years, J, B, Pharrell, Ye, right? Like, I think that it's known that she is a superstar, but with that being said, you need the content creators around you, whether those, directors, producers, music producers, whoever may have you. You need those people to feed you the right art. And I don't think that she has that yet. But, I think she's a superstar.
Wow. Well, I was going to mention, because when the album came out, she was really unhappy because they kind of rushed the project and, the samples weren't all there. And she had promised that the following week she was going to release the final version of the album. Well, it's a week later and the final version is still not out. It looks like it's canceled now. And prior to that tweet, she had said, like, this album is unfinished, it wasn't my best work, but wait till you hear the final version. So now that the final version is not coming out, doesn't that, like, cheapen the project because everyone now knows that wasn't what was supposed to come out?
No. I think it's a decent body of work, and I think that everybody knows that Teyana has always gotten the short end of the stick when it comes to good music. So I think that it just kind of more so fits into their narrative of kind of overlooking and giving Teyana the attention that she, really should be having.
Tom?
To be honest, like, what'd you say?
No, go ahead.
I mean,
yeah, Teyana is she's a figure that needs to be seen. I think that, like, it's extremely disrespectful to her career that we have not even seen a music video for any of these projects when, like, in 2019, 18, all of her contemporaries at least have one video coming out the day of the project, right? Like, Teyana needs to be seen. The fact that they haven't shot a music video for her, like, I think that it's just proven that, good music is not they're not doing right by her. And this is a consistency that, of it. So I don't think that it cheapens it. I just think that it falls right in line with what we already kind of know about the way that good music and Teyana interact with each other.
Yeah, I mean, I see both sides. It's just like, it's almost like part of the theatrics you expect when you're going to associate with Kanye. It's like you never quite know what's going to happen, and unfortunately that happened this time around, but what are you going to do? That's her decision. It definitely gets her more attention, though, being with Kanye's label, though, so I don't think it's wrong of her to be part of it, but I'm sure she's frustrated that she didn't get to put out what she wanted.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Well, everyone go check out that Teyana Taylor project. Some solid records on there, if you haven't checked it out already. I've got some news for everybody here. 112. Tom, you love 112, don't you?
We all love 112. Who doesn't love 112?
We all love 112, and I'm actually going to go catch them in concert in August, I believe. And it was interesting because on the flyer, the concert said 112 concert featuring Slim. And that kind of threw me off a little bit. I'm like, okay, maybe they're just highlighting Slim as, one of the performers on there. But we've done a little more Wikipedia research, and it looks like, Tom, because we've seen all these different flyers, it looks like right now in concert, you're either going to see Slim and Mike together on stage or Duran and Q. They don't perform as a four-man group anymore. It's just two, and that's crazy to me.
I don't know what happened. Of course, there's really been no announcement or anything. Why would there be? But it always seemed kind of strange how the last rollout went, or the rollout went for the album, like, because they were doing stuff with Jagged Edge, and then things kind of fell apart. They did a video, which I don't think ever came out. Did that ever come out?
I don't think it did.
They were filming together for the video, and then it just never released. So who knows if they are breaking up again or whatever, but I'm sure they'll eventually mend their, whatever's went wrong. But I don't know if I really want to see Q and Duran or just Slim and Mike. I mean, it's gonna be weird.
All right, if you guys had to choose, which pair would you rather see?
Slim and them.
No.
Slim
you need Slim.
Solo hits.
I feel like it doesn't feel like a 112 show if you don't have Slim there. I feel like, but at the same time, I like Duran and Q. It's tough to say.
I want whoever's bringing Lil Zane out when they do anywhere. Man,
Lil Zane.
How old were you when that record even came out? Like 4?
Man, probably like about 5, maybe. Really young.
That was too grown for you at that age, young man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know. I mean, yeah. I was a Lil Zane fan though.
You were really?
Yeah, he was like in like Dr. Dolittle and
wow.
like a few of those in Hardball. So like I remember seeing him in movies.
Yeah,
Fighting Temptation. So yeah, shout out Lil Zane.
Yep. All right, let's get into this Playa Please Award. We got a couple today. Are you guys ready?
Yep. I'm giving Kyle the Playa Please Award. That's my
No. We're not there yet.
Can I give Playa Please Awards? All right, go ahead.
You can give the very last one. I only have 2 today. We normally have 3.
All right. Go ahead,
the first Playa Please, Chris Brown bought an SUV worth $350,000, and it can withstand multiple rounds from automatic weapons. So basically, he bought a tank. Tom, is that a Playa Please?
I don't know what he's going through. I mean, who's to say? I mean, are people coming for him in the streets? I have no idea what's going on. I don't know.
350.
If he feels that's necessary in his life, then more power to him. I mean, hopefully he'll be safe.
Remember last week we talked about that Tidal lawsuit and the guy sued Kanye and Tidal for $85 million? This is why people need $85 million so they can buy a tank and roam the streets.
This reminds me of when T.I. was caught with all that weaponry in his car or whatever. Like, he was about to go to war. I think he was arrested and put in jail, but like, you just wonder what some of these artists are going through that they feel like they need that type of artillery.
Zeplyn?
I mean, Chris Brown's from Virginia, so I can never say anything bad about my VA brethren.
DMV?
Yeah, I show Chris Brown and Trey Songz are 2 artists who, whatever they do, I'm in support of them just because, we're from the same place. So,
even buying a tank.
If Chris did it, then I think it's cool.
Wow. That's. I have to be honest. That almost deserves a Playa Please Award. Come on, man.
In itself. All right.
That response. Come on.
All right. Second Playa Please. This is actually someone we're all very familiar with. I know you guys were kind of hoping that this would last, but it didn't. Tinashe and Ben Simmons.
Oh yes, I was hoping for this.
You guys were big fans of them being a couple, and then a couple of weeks later, they broke up because Ben Simmons cheated on her with Kendall Jenner, I think, one of the Jenners. What ended up happening most recently, Kendall and Ben were at a club. Tinashe was at that same club. They saw each other, so they all left separately. But according to Tinashe, after they all left, Ben Simmons started texting Tinashe, which sounds like risky desperation and all of the above. Do we get a Playa Please for that?
Well, it came out that she made that up. Did you see that part?
Yes. So what ended up happening was when they asked Ben Simmons about it, he called out Tinashe, and Tinashe retracted on the statements and said, "Oh, that never actually happened." That is a Playa Please.
Well, let me give you some background. Zeplyn and I have been debating Tinashe's career, I think, going on about 4 or 5 years now. Is that right, Zeplyn?
Probably around that. Yep. Since 2 came out.
It's been pretty fascinating to us to evaluate it over the years and see if she was going to break out or not, but unfortunately it just hasn't happened. We thought this relationship came too late. It should have been years earlier. This just unfortunately looks like, I feel like it's kind of over for her at this point. It has to be. Unfortunately, we like Tinashe and we like her songs, But man, I don't know.
We didn't like
Zeppelin.
Tom. We liked her songs. We didn't like her last album.
Well, we did. Yeah, I mean, but Zeppelin, man, what is going on?
Hey man, you know I made this statement earlier. Same thing with Keyshia Cole, right? You got to do what you got to do in order to stay relevant. So, you know, it's the generation in which we live in. I think that I don't think that he should have, even if he was texting her, I don't think that he should have gotten the Playa Please Award. I think that it's certain things that you just want to keep private, right? So even if that is going on with them, then I think that she needs to check him privately, but I don't think that you need to let TMZ know about that. You know, that's kind of reaching at that point, because you know what that's going to do if you tell TMZ that. So, you know, if I'm Tinashe, to be honest, man, like I'm holding up in a studio. You know, I'm not out at the club. I'm either in the studio or I'm in the you know, the dance studio, you know, training and just perfecting my craft, because at this point, you know, the industry is showing that R&B artists and female artists can exist, right? Ella, H.E.R, SZA, they can exist and do well. You know, Kehlani, every now and, you know, again, she'll come out with something, but she hasn't found that yet. And so if I'm her, I'm in the studio 24 hours until I find that. I'm not worried about the club. I'm not worried about a man. All I'm worried about is, you know, getting that hit that that I need. You know, so that's my take on Tinashe.
Damn. Actually, I've got one more player, please. I actually dug this up on Google. This is actually an old article, but I want to read it out to everyone because to celebrate my July 1st giving up red meat statement, I read something very interesting. This was from 2014. Usher drops his vegan diet because it's too expensive. So if Usher can't afford being vegan, what chances do we have?
It is expensive, man. It's not cheap. But living healthy isn't cheap either. If you ate McDonald's every day, you'd probably save a lot of money.
Yeah, but if Usher, who probably gets about $250,000 a show, can't maintain this diet, how are we supposed to?
Listen, man, I don't even know what to say about that article. Usher.
Usher's meal cost though could have been a lot higher than the average vegan, right? Usher could be spending $400 on a meal because he has the best chefs cooking and preparing him food, or he's going to the bougiest vegan restaurants. So I think that, like, it's context as well. You can probably, if he was living a healthy vegan life, like, you know, normal lifestyle like the average person, he probably could. But, you know, if he's going to the most expensive quote-unquote places, the priciest places, and I don't know that he is, you know, or maybe, you know, the show money is slowing up. You know, we don't know, right? Like, he hasn't come out with a classic album in a while. Maybe it's slowing up.
Oh,
you know, so like, but I doubt that it's that. He's probably his lifestyle is probably just a lot higher than the average person's, and so he's spending close to $300, $400 a meal. Then hey, you know,
it'll add up.
That can get pricey. That's about $2,000 a week.
damn! So he's back to Big Macs. It's a lot cheaper.
Wait, Zeplyn, we have to ask you this. Do you think Usher's Raymond vs. Raymond album is good?
I think that there were good records on that album. I don't remember loving that project, but I do remember liking Papers. I remember liking was Dive on that album?
No.
Did he have a song called Dive?
Yeah. It's on the following album.
Give me what was on Papers? Is that OMG? I mean,
yep, OMG, Little OMG? Freak, There Goes My Baby, Daddy's Home.
Yeah,
Tom's
There Goes My
song.
Baby. Yeah, right, Daddy. Exactly. So I like records on it. As a solid body of work, it's so hard to judge Usher's bodies of work without, you know, bringing up Confessions 87 and not putting them in comparison. So compared to his classics, in my opinion, it doesn't stand up. But I think he had really good songs on there that a few of them, you know, will be able to stand the test of time. Yeah.
All right. Zeppelin, I'll give you this opportunity. This is our very last Playa Please. I don't know if you have anything planned, or if you want, you can just throw shots at me again. But who is the last Playa Please Award going to?
So Playa Please Award for July. What's today's date? What's this?
It's the 7th today.
7th. The Playa Please Award for the 7th is I don't have one. I appreciate you guys going on. I like the healthy conversation and the healthy debates. Like I said, when I started getting Google alerts that my name was being brought up sideways, I had to come and see about you, Kyle, to see, if you was just trolling me like these young boys, or if you really had an issue. And it sounds like that there's no issue. You just wanted to have some healthy conversation and healthy debate, which I always appreciate.
Absolutely. Tom, can we give the Playa Please to Barry Bars if Zeppelin's not going to give it to anyone?
Why? What did he do now?
Well, didn't he text you to give you props for our Instagram posts?
Yeah.
But I don't think he knows that he gets slandered on every single podcast.
Oh, that's right.
Barry Bars, we love you.
We love Barry Bars. We love you, man.
Anyways, Zeppelin, tell us what's going on with you. I know you mentioned a couple of your cool projects that you're working on. What's going on with you right now aside from that? Or maybe if you want to plug that again.
Yeah, absolutely. So now is a really special time. I actually I just signed on to be the morning show producer at WKYS 93.9, the Angie Morning Show. It's a new show with the #1 hip hop and R&B station in the DMV area, and so they're bringing a new morning show starting July 16th. So I finalized my contract this week to join them as the producer for that show. So I'm really excited about that. In addition to continuing to move the DMV music scene and culture forward. As I said, the DC Soul stage is, if anybody wants to know who the best up and coming artists from the DMV are, they all come through the DC Soul stage. It's fantastic performances, great interviews. You can find that at theneoelite.com, TheNeoElite, theneoelite.com. And the Millennials in Music, with you all continuing to find some of these rising artists who will be the Ella Mai's of next year, and will be the SZAs and the H.E.Rs of next year, and to have some real authentic conversations with them whenever they come through to the DMV area. So yeah, man, and just thank you all again for having me. Always healthy conversation, always excited to join in and talk to my fellow brethren about this genre we're trying to push forward.
Dope.
Awesome, man. Thanks for congrats on that new opportunity, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was about to say, Zeppelin, that's a big opportunity. But if I hear you playing the Boot Up remix on your show instead of the original, I'm coming to DC.
Man, my job is to feed the people. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta give the people what they want. If they want Nicki, to be honest, what they're getting is Plies, because that is the only Boot Up remix that really matters.
Oh my God!
It's the Plies mix. So
all right, shout outs to Plies. Tom, what's going on with I Got Soul?
Not a damn thing, Kyle. We haven't had a new album come out in a month, I think, since Neo's album, and I don't see anything on the radar for another 2 months. So I'm just chilling this summer.
Peeble is out next month.
Who?
Peeble Bryson. You love him.
Listen, man, we just heard about Peeble Bryson like a day ago.
Oh.
So So basically, I'm taking off the next 2 months from R&B music, unofficially. Really, I would love to hear some new music, but it's getting bad.
Fair enough. Yeah, but that seems to be it for this week's podcast. Zeppelin, appreciate you for joining us. We're cool now. I promise I won't give you another Playa Please for at least another week.
Hey,
and then
I appreciate that. Really quickly, though, I wanted to ask you all how you all feel about Queen Naje.
Who?
Queen Naje.
Oh, actually, I was just asked that Medicine song or whatever, right?
Yeah, so she has the song Medicine, but she came out with a song last week actually on the day that Drake's album dropped called Karma. And she had like the #1 song the entire day. Like even when Drake's album was out, it was the #1 song on iTunes. It's called Karma. She's a real R&B singer, right? Like no tricks, no auto tunes, no loops. She's a real R&B singer with real topics. I think that she signed to Capitol maybe about a month ago. I mean, came up the YouTube route, but like 22, 23, she's special. I think she's somebody that could wind up having like an unconventional hit, and everybody's like, where did this queen, we can't even pronounce her last name, come from? But, you know, we'll have a top 20 record. Queen Naija. So she has 2 records out. That, you know, Medicine is one, and then Karma is the other one. Great records. I would definitely say, as far as newcomers, that she's one that I would recommend people look out for. And then you know, Mahalia is another one from the UK. I don't know if you all have heard of her, but she's a special one too. She has a song called "I Wish I Missed My Ex," and it's another real R&B record, Mahalia. So I would, you know, just to put, if I could put you all on 2 artists. I know you've heard of her, Kyle, but, you know, Tom, who, you know, if they're not over 40, I know you're not listening to them, but, you know.
Oh my goodness, what the heck?
Queen Naija and Mahalia, I would definitely, you know, I would point you all towards.
Listen, man, I do appreciate it. I just want to let you know, when we give you the Playa Please Award next week, we're not going to type your name in there, so it won't come up on Google. And so unless you listen, you won't hear it.
But the slander will still be there. All right, I will. We'll go check that out, Tom. Man, you might have to come out of retirement if these songs are good. But if they're not good, then Zeplyn, you most definitely will be getting the Playa Please. So
I am absolutely positive. I'll put my money on it that you all will be asking me to come on for part 2 after you hear these records.
All right. So, well, Zeplyn, I appreciate you for joining us on this. Appreciate the conversation. Hey, you and I are good. I still think her is a superstar, but only time will tell. But until then, we will be back next week with more R&B, more conversations, and just more everything. So this is Kyle. Got Tom with me. Got Zeplyn, and we are out. Zeplyn, and we are out. Zeplyn, and we are out. Zeplyn, and